Okay, so the readings for next week are going to be to finish off Second Corinthians, and so we'll do that together. And then we're going to get into the book of James. Now, James was written by James, the brother of Jesus, and James is one of the early leaders in the church. If you remember back to Acts chapter 15, James was there at the council where they were trying to figure out that whole Jew-Gentile debate thing, if you remember that. So that was James, and James wrote one of these letters to many of the churches, many of the Christians. And the book of James is a great book because he talks a lot about real, genuine faith. And basically the message of James is this: faith in Jesus should change the way we live. It shouldn't just be it shouldn't just be sort of a 101 thing, that we learn the truth and Jesus saves us by his grace, and then it doesn't at all affect the rest of our lives. James talks about the fact that Truth 5 should start to happen now, that we live to honor God in our lives, and that we should use God's word to guide us, and the Spirit is in us, and we build one another up as community, all the 201 stuff, and even some of the 301 stuff that we learned in Foundations. And that's what the book of James is all about. One of the most famous verses in James is where he says, "You say you have faith without works," and James says, "I will show you my faith by what I do." Now, a lot of people think that contradicts the gospel, that contradicts the message of 101, but that's not true at all. James is just saying this: the natural outflow of coming to Jesus is that it should change the way you live every day, not just on Sundays. So keep that in mind as you read James, and we'll see you next week to talk about it.